All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another Monday Momentum where I'm here to share a good word with you to start your week off right. Today, we're going to talk about the one question that makes you the most memorable. Listen, the first thing you need to know is that the question that you ask of a person who can change your life is literally the most important thing that makes you memorable to that person. Introductions are important. Introductions are great. But what I've seen from a lot of students, especially students that I get a chance to network with, is that they don't know exactly what they want from the relationship. And so, first things first is you got to know what you want. You got to know that, like, what is your intention? And so, if your intention is to just get advice from this person, then you can ask them anything, right? Like, ask them whatever you want. But if your intention is to build a strong connection with that person, if your intention is to make sure that they give you an opportunity of a lifetime, then you need to ask a very clear, open-ended question that gets them to reflect deeply on their achievements. I'm telling you, like, the person who wants to change your life wants to change your life, but they got to know that you're ready. And when you introduce yourself as this is my name, this is my major, or if you ask a question like, what do you do? Where are you from? These are basic questions. These are closed-ended questions. These are questions that's not going to get you the recognition that a person who has like a deeper level question about the individual is going to get. And so let me give you some examples as to what a really good question looks like. And so first thing first, let me talk about a little bit about like why where you're from and what you do are basic. So let me talk about that first. So why that's whack, why that's unmemorable is because where you from, like, so let's say I'm from Grand Rapids. Like, you from Grand Rapids, you like, me too, right? And then now I gotta carry the conversation. Or usually we're gonna ask where you went to high school. We're gonna not talk about any gifts, any talents, any skills, any opportunities. We're gonna talk about the hometown, right? We're going to talk about your favorite basketball tournament, right? So for me, it was going to the Macker downtown. You're going to talk about your favorite food spot. You're going to talk about your favorite drink in your hometown, your favorite snack in your hometown. You're going to talk about the favorite neighborhood in the hometown. You're going to talk about so many things, but guess what you won't talk about when you ask the question, where you from? The opportunities that person has that they're trying to give to a student, or the opportunity that this person has that's going to change a student's life. You're not going to talk about that when you ask where you from. Or you can even ask, like, what do you do? So that's a good one. I think it's good, but again, it's closed-ended. And so all I need to do is say, you say, what do you do, Dr. Dar? I'm a leadership studies faculty member. And that's it. Like, if I don't have any desire to even dive deeper in a conversation with a person, I'm going to give you the answer that you asked for, and I'm trying to move on. What you need to do when you're trying to get networked with somebody that can literally change your life is you got to ask open-ended questions. Open-ended questions is going to get you to think, get the person to think deeper about their achievements, get them to reflect deeper about who they're trying to serve, get them to reflect deeper on the type of opportunities that are available. And so you can even say, like, what do you do? But then can you also talk about how you got there? Open-ended question. Right. I think this is a good time for me to talk about, like, what's some really good questions to ask when you're networking with an industry leader or somebody who's out in the field that could literally change your life. And so here's one. Make sure you write this down. Right. So I see a couple of folks in here on the live. Hey, like, if you got any questions, throw them in the comments. I'm watching. make sure that you see me. Hey, Janice, what's going on? How you doing? I appreciate you being here. Hey, hopefully this will be on YouTube. Share this video with some students who are college bound, who are looking to network with some professionals. This would be great for them. And so here's a really good question. What are you really proud of that most people don't know about you? Like, that's a really powerful question. Or you can even say something on the lines of, what are you really proud of in the workplace that most people don't know about you? That's again another thing that you can ask that's open-ended, that gets people to hear the fact that you are interested in the work that they do, but also it's unique. It's not something that every typical student or every typical person would even ask. And it's also like, now I got to think about, what is something that I am really proud of that most people don't even talk about? Most people don't even think about. As it relates to me. Like, so for me, most people don't know that I'm a maximizer. And so I get genuine, authentic joy and satisfaction from seeing my students get into grad school, get jobs. This is why I share every single class, highlight, shouts, announcements, gratitude, because I literally want to hear what's going on in their life. Like, if you ask me what I do, I would never tell you that I'm a maximizer. I will tell you that I'm a leadership studies professor and help students understand their natural gifts and talents so they can articulate them to industry leaders and get a job or into grad school before graduation. But you ask me something I'm really proud of. I'm really proud of that I do, right? That most people don't know about me, is that I'm proud that I'm a maximizer that teaches students about their gifts and talents so that they can share those things with the classroom, that they're achieving all their dreams and goals. That lights me up, y'all. And so that's something that, like, another question. Here's another question that you can ask that I think is really good. If you can do a TED Talk on any topic that's not your job, what would that topic be on? Right? And so I think that's a really good question, because again, it gets to the skills and gifts and talents of the person that you're trying to connect with. It gets them to reflect deeper on who are they showing up as, or who would they like to show up as if they weren't this person in the workplace. Right? And so I can think about myself. Like, it's so interesting. Like, if I could do a TED Talk on any other topic other than leadership, it would probably be fatherhood. And I got so many things that I just think about as it relates to being a parent, as it relates to being a father, as it relates to being a husband, right? Like, those things transform me into a great professional. And so there will be things I will talk about, right? And so that would be another good question. And I think another really good question to ask, especially when you're working with or trying to work with industry leaders, is, what's the best advice that you received from a person in the industry about the industry? Right? And so that's a really powerful question that you can ask, because what you're getting to is the opportunities that somebody opened the door for them. What you're getting to is, like, somebody expanded their mind. And so you're allowing them to go back to that moment where their mind was expanded and how they actually saw things differently because of somebody's advice. Right? And so, like, for me, like, I always talk about, like, some of the best advice I got as a high school student who was kind of struggling academically, but not socially, was my grandma told me, you show me your friends, I'll tell you your future. Right? And so at the time, I had a couple different types of friends. I had friends who were going to college, and I had friends who went to the penitentiary. And so that moment, right, as a high school student, really helped me see, like, I need to maybe get focused a little bit more on what will my future be. What will my future be like? Because I got friends who are going to college, and so I'm assuming that their life is going to be good. I got friends who went to the penitentiary. I'm assuming their life is going to be bad. And so I'm going to go with the good part, even if I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm telling you, like, I graduated with the 10th worst GPA in my high school class. I literally had 9 people who had worse GPAs than me in my graduating class. And yet I still found a way to get into college because that's where my friends were going. So my grandma, shout out to my grandma, that advice, show me your friends, I'll tell you your future, changed me. And so why is it important to ask a really critical question? It makes you stand out because the opportunity for the person to give a more meaningful answer, something more personal, or something that they got to reflect deeper on, those are important. That's critical. And so I want you to be able to see that people who are successful like talking about themselves. They love it. Like, that's their thing, right? And so giving them something to reflect on might even give them more content on who they can actually engage in another question, or that gives them more content of something that they can expound on in the future when you ask a really good question. 2, it really shows that you care deeply about the person, the industry, right? Like, when you say, what did you do to have to get into the industry, is very different than what does it take for a person like me to be successful in the industry. Now, these are really good questions because it gets people to reflect, like, first, what did I do? Like, what are the steps that I took? And then it also allows, the second part of that question is also like, it allows people to give you steps, right? And if I was being asked that question, I'm going to want to know more about who the person is. So I'm going to ask you some context questions, like, what type of leader are you? What type of things are you involved in? So then I can give you a really informed answer. You want to pull people in like that, right? That's what you want to do, is show people that you're ready to lead, and you lead by allowing people to generate thoughts, generate perspectives, right? To be able to create opportunity for them to reflect deeper, right? And so here's something that like, I want you to think about, right? As it relates to the next steps. And so here's your call to action. Here's the thing that I want you to think about next. I want you to think about, what events do you want to go to, and who are there that you want to engage with, right? What events you want to go to, and who's there that you want to engage with. And then I want you to look these people up, do some research on these folks, right? And so if these are professionals, I want you to look at their LinkedIn. I want you to Google them. I want you to look at their bio profile, maybe on a website. I want you to get a deeper understanding of where they went to school. What did they study? What are their interests? Did they do any research? If this is a faculty, and let's say you're looking at to get into graduate programs, I want you to look up the faculty from the programs. I want you to look up their bios. I want you to see what their research agenda is. I want you to know where they went to school. I want you to see what are their degrees in. What do they specialize in? What are their concentrations? And I really want you to look in, again, their LinkedIn to see, like, what are they posting? What do they share about? What do they share information about? And so that you can generate deeper level questions that would allow for you to stand out when the next person or the first person before you, all they asked was, what do you do? Where you from? Get beyond that. Get beyond the basic closed-ended questions that's not going to get you anything. That's not going to make you memorable. And I want you to get to the questions that are literally steeped in your research, that you truly have an interest in, that you also believe that this is going to get this person to think deeper. Right? And then when you go to that event, you ask that question, I want you to share it with me. And so this video will be posted on YouTube. So if you want to watch the replay, make sure you go to YouTube and you'll be able to check this thing out and write kind of your notes and then add in the comments. How did the thing go? How did the situation end up, right? Did you make the connection? Did you make the opportunity of a lifetime? Did you change somebody's life or your own life because you was willing to network? And so I hope this was helpful. Again, every Monday, 7 o'clock Eastern time, I'm here to give you a good word to start your week off right for Monday Momentum. Today, we talked about asking a question that is super memorable so that you can get the opportunities of a lifetime. And of course, as always, keep doing the good work.